So getting a title for your vehicle can seem difficult if you have improper paperwork or if there's a lien on a vehicle, but beware of some of the shortcut methods that some people will use or companies will use that could get you into trouble. This scenario has come up many times before, this exact scheme. It's called lien stripping or lien release fraud. And what happens is if you have a vehicle that has a lien on it, there's a proper way to get a lien release, and it's through proper channels of documentation with the lien holder. But there are some companies that will try to get you a lien release using lien stripping. And it doesn't last long. We've seen this going back as early as, I think the first case we saw was 1998. We saw a really big case in San Antonio in 2004. And this is a new one. It never ends, where this company stripped liens from 100 cars illegally, and they were convicted. Right? And this is not a local crime. This is prosecuted by the U.S. Attorney's Office, Department of Justice. And the federal jury has found these people guilty on all charges, convicted of one count of conspiracy. This is major jail time, right? And a lot of these vehicles, the titles are going to come back. Here's basically how it works. There is a process allowable for licensed vehicle facilities. If you're a repair shop, a dealership, a towing company, a body shop, where you can do what's called a mechanic's lien. And what you do is, if you have a vehicle that was brought into your shop to get fixed and the person didn't pay their bill, you can send out some notices, file some publications in the newspaper, hold an auction to auction off the car, and then the car is transferred to whoever buys it at auction. So what these people do, and lots of people try to do this, is they file a fake mechanic's lien. So what they do is they make up fraudulent paperwork that says, yeah, this car was brought into the shop, somebody signed a letter or signed a repair order to fix the car, and they didn't pay their bill, so we want to auction it off. And they hold a fake auction and just sign it over to themselves or one of their friends that say they bought it at the auction. The problem with it is that's not what really happened. And the fact that these mechanics liens are often fraudulent is that they're very highly regulated and audited. The DMV and the titling authorities and the U.S. Attorney's Office, they look at these mechanics liens and they say, look, are these real or not? And they can find the evidence of fraud very, very quickly. So what they found was that this company went around to people who had bad credit or filing bankruptcy or late on their loans and said, look, give us your vehicle. They even promoted a free bankruptcy program to financially distressed people who owed more in car loans than it was worth. Through this program, they promised to pay the attorney's fees if they turned over their vehicles to them. And people signed up with that and surrendered their vehicles from as far away as California. This was in Indiana. And they filed mechanics liens. And they said they're holding auctions to sell these fees to satisfy unpaid debts for their company. But the company really had no debts. They made up fake bills for storage. And these fraudulent auctions were made up to sell the vehicle to a friend. And the successful bidders claimed to have paid the exact amount for the storage fees. What's the odds of that, right? These were false claims. And that means there was nothing left over to give to the lenders or return to the individuals. In fact, they did not pay anything for the cars, which they obtained titles for. They made up a fake company called AMI Asset Management, who were the successful bidders. Once they received the titles, clear of liens, they sold the vehicles and received thousands of dollars in profit. And they obtained over $1 million through this fraud. So be aware that if you're thinking of some loophole, shortcut, illegal method to get a title for your vehicle or for a vehicle you want to sell, that you're not the first one to have thought of this, right? This is about the 10th or 11th time we've seen this happen in the last 10 years on a large scale. I'm sure there's hundreds of them that happen every single day that get shut down by the local law enforcement. This one was big enough where the U.S. Attorney's Office got involved. So be aware, if you're looking to get a lien release, there's legitimate ways to do it. And you want to make sure that you're not doing a shortcut, or if you're paying somebody to do it, that they're not using a shortcut, because everybody gets in trouble for this. Titles get revoked, people get fined, people get imprisoned, and you don't want to be part of anything illegal. So make sure that your lien release for your vehicle is not part of an illegal or fraudulent mechanics lien title scheme, because every single year there's one or two of these that show up. Small scale, large scale. This was 100 cars, which might seem like a lot, but if you think about it, it was from 2013 to 16. That's either 2 or 3 years. Let's say it's 2 years, right? That's 50 a year. That's only one a week. They weren't doing a whole lot of them. So even doing one a week rose to the level of the United States Department of Justice coming down on them. So if you're a small operator and you think you want to get away with this and you're doing a small number, this was only one per week. It wasn't a big deal, and it still resulted in major federal prosecution. So be aware of illegal title methods and ways that vehicle titles can be obtained through proper channels.